All right, I call this one S-curves versus asymptotes, vintage camera lenses, and it's 10 p.m. where your seed's at, featuring Runway ML. Otis 5D React. All right, so what this is about is the fact that AI is
Are you ready for
rapidly-
best pizza of life?
This is
Bring friends down to Pepperoni Hug Spot.
This is
Our chefs make pizza with heart
two
and special
generations.
touch.
So here, let's set the tone a bit. Runway ML is, among other things, it is one of the leading AI video prompting services that's actually available. There's a lot of hype around OpenAI's Sora, but Runway ML has been around and working in the same way that ChatGPT has been around and working for text. Runway ML has been working for video for a number of years now. They're on Gen 3, which just came out. I remember when Gen 1 came out, and then, Gen 2 came out, and, here we are. So the video here from Gen 2 went viral last year because it was kind of weird and cool and trippy and kind of shocking that something that sophisticated could be made from an AI video. But Gen 3 is some shit, bro. And so this is the same prompt. That's what's interesting about this. This is the same input into Runway ML, Gen 2 on the top and Gen 3 on the bottom.
Are you ready for best pizza? Bring friends down to Pepperoni Hug Spot. Our chefs make pizza with heart and special touch. Cheese, pepperoni, vegetable, and more secret things.
You can see
Delivery, pizzas come
that
fast.
we've
Knock,
gone
knock, who's
from
there?
something
Pizza
kind
magic.
of weird
Pepperoni Hug Spot pizza.
to
Your tummy say thank
something
you, your
kind
mouth
of
say,
like,
Pepperoni Hug Spot.
at first
It's like
glance,
family, but with more cheese.
it
Are you
would
ready for best
be
pizza of life? Bring friends down to Pepperoni Hug Spot.
seen as just like, oh, that's
Our chefs
just
make
an
pizza with heart
ad
and special touch.
in a
Cheese,
in
pepperoni,
just
vegetable,
over a
and
year.
more secret things. Need delivery?
And,
Pizzas come fast. Knock, knock. Who's there?
like,
Pizza magic.
Where
Pepperoni
are
Hug
we
Spot pizza.
going?
Your tummy say thank you, your
Where
mouth say,
the F
Pepperoni Hug Spot. It's
are
like family,
we
but with more
going
cheese.
here? Like, Elon Musk is saying we're going to have AGI next year. They just tried to assassinate Trump, and who knows what's going to happen with fiat currency and Bitcoin. Everything is so uncertain. So S-curves versus asymptotes. The person that I saw this from was Indian Bronson, and he was basically saying it's going to take a year from now for us to know whether we're on an S-curve or an asymptote, meaning is Runway Gen 3 going to be basically like, yeah, it's fun, it's awesome, it's great, it works, just like Claude 3.5. If you haven't used Claude 3.5, don't join Otis 12D. You're not on the level. And or is it just going to keep going? And if it keeps going, what does that mean? What does that mean? Because what that means is that media will start to get disrupted in the same way that YouTube at some point began disrupting, Netflix and television. AI will start disrupting YouTube as well as Netflix and television. And that's a very strange world. That's a very, very different world than the one we live in now, because if these things do start to get out into the open, the kind of content that could be created is wild to consider. Like, here's a very random example off the top of my head, super controversial, but it's real, and it's the kind of thing that will likely get created. So Jordan Peterson and his daughter are in a feud right now with Nick Fuentes and the Groypers, and Jordan Peterson is calling them rats and neo-Nazis and disgusting trolls. And the Groypers are responding by, among other things, referring to Jordan Peterson as Juden Peterstein. So you could imagine, and here's the thing, the Groypers are fucking smart. The The Groypers are smart as shit, bro. People that get on the wrong side of the Groypers have a very bad track record of like their life continuing to go up and to the right. So, fuck with them at your own peril to some extent. And so imagine, and also they're mostly Zoomers, right? They're mostly Gen Z, so they're very tech savvy and fluent in all of these things. So imagine that they started making like a series of videos called like The Adventures of Juden Peterstein, and those videos started going like massively viral. I mean, what does society do with that? I mean, that makes, like when porn started coming out. I mean, this is before my time, but when like Debbie Does Dallas came out on Betamax, right? Like porn decided the winner of the format of VHS versus Betamax. At least that's the story that is commonly reported. And if Juden Peterstein videos start going viral, like what is the ADL gonna do? What is AIPAC gonna do? What is the Zionist League Congress gonna do? Like this is some serious shit, and this stuff has a huge audience and it has huge viral potential, and it's like opening Pandora's box in a way if this is not asymptotic. Because anyone with a crazy idea can begin to manifest it in form without needing a huge budget. And because of the longhouse, the feminization of society that we're in, creativity. This happened in the I can't remember what the exact time period it was. I think it was like the mid 60s. Like the movies started getting very stale. Don't quote me on this, I could be wrong. I think this is like Fred Astaire and all this kind of stuff. And the young people were not connecting with Hollywood. And then movies like Easy Rider came out. And it was this whole new generation of people that were speaking about things that seemed real to the lived experience of young people. So as crazy as someone that is not in touch with what's going on in the world, The Adventures of Juden Peterstein is basically, in my opinion, relatively analogous to Easy Rider, and a whole new wave of content that is like, I mean, you could imagine both on the left wing and the right wing popular videos about right-wing serial killers who kill left-wing people and are secretly praised by the right, like kind of like Dexter, right? I've never actually seen Dexter, but I kind of get what it's about, and vice versa. And left-wing people, like some trans person makes an AI show about a trans person who like kills all the anti-trans people who blows up churches, or right-wing people who blow up Planned Parenthood. It's like, and if you think it's crazy, look at video games like Grand Theft Auto. Like that shit exists. It's like, yeah, kill the hooker, steal the money, fuck the hooker, kill the hooker, take your money back. Ha ha ha. Like that's old news now. So in order to like break the mold, I mean, it's you got to be edgy. And what is edgy now? Edginess is like anti-gay, assassinate Trump, the Jews run the world. Israel is not our ally, right? Like and on the Israeli side, it would be like, like imagine that. And Israeli people, they make these propaganda films about like, kind of like the Tarantino stuff of whatever that movie's called. I'm blanking all of a sudden. The Bear Jew, the Jew movie. But they kill all the Palestinians, right? Villages. And it's like, it's super, like, people talk about it like it's so bad, like you shouldn't watch it, but like secretly in group chats, people are like, damn, dude, this shit is dope. Yeah, fuck those Palestinians, right? Weird shit, bro. Weird shit could be at our doorstep. And I think people are not thinking enough. What the fuck, bro? If you are a person who's thinking, please come to the website, look at Otis 12D, because I want to think with you, because I can't where are all of you? Who's thinking? So, okay, so I call this S-curves versus asymptotes, right? We don't know. Vintage camera lenses. I think what's interesting is that these models are going to turn into like vintage camera lenses. Like people are going to want to use Runway Gen 2 for an effect the same way like Tim and Eric used handy cams to create this like really amateur look. So different AI models as lenses, I think, is a good way to think about them, because they're not necessarily better than the other, even though most people will tend to use the newest, latest, greatest thing. People looking for certain effects will want to try to hone in on a specific AI model, which I think is it's a really important reason for there to be open source AI, so that you can keep that model, right? There's also the possibility that new models will be able to emulate old models, but even that people do that with camera lenses, but there's still a market for old camera lenses, right? Just like there's still a market for vinyl. And it's 10 p.m. where your seed's at. Man, I don't even remember why I wrote that one now. It's so sad. That was like a Most Def reference. It's 10 p.m. where your seed's at. You know the deal. They on the hill pumping krill to keep the belly filled. Why would I have done that? That's like note to self. You have to get better at explaining. Like when you're so clever and you think of these things, you have to get better at explaining. I think that it's about the fact that the parents have no idea what's coming, right? That's what that means. It's 10 p.m. where your seed's at. It's a reference to like a public television campaign, I think either nationally or in New York City, and I think the late 70s or early 80s. It's 10 p.m. Do you know where your children are? You can look this up on YouTube. It's interesting. It's actually worth looking up. It'll take you just a couple minutes. But, Most Def turned that into a bar. And the point being that, like, do you see what's happening? That's why I did it. It's pretty good. Go Otis. That was pretty good. Do you see what's happening? People do not see what's happening. The world is shifting so rapidly before our eyes, and the vast majority of people that I'm aware of who are super smart are paying attention to one of the trends. No. You got to be kidding me, bro. Like, you got to be paying attention to a lot of the trends. And as it gets more and more difficult to stay on top of all the trends, that's where the most valuable thing on planet fucking Earth, Gaia, is a high capacity community of people that are all paying attention very closely, and thus, for the most part, one person is going to catch pretty much everything. One person in the community, in the group. And that way, that group of people misses almost nothing. And the value of such a community is basically, it's like priceless. It's like, Visa, MasterCard style, like priceless. And so that's actually, as time goes on, I feel like that is now the main purpose of me making these videos. It's like, I want to build such a community so badly that I won't stop. Can't stop, won't stop. And so if you fuck with this heavily, not just like, it's cool, it's kind of interesting. No. If you're like, bruh, I'm looking for you. Otis5d.xyz. Click Otis12D or tap it if you're on mobile, and we'll go from there. All right, peace.
Otis5d.xyz. Go fuck yourself.